This is an origin reading for the child. So I haven't surrounded us in protective space yet since I didn't need to get a code name. So here we go. I'm going to use my dragon to aid with the visualization. Okay. So as I'm surrounding you in this protective space, right away your throat chakra is really sticking out. And it's like there's a lot of energy going to it that wants it to spin, wants it to spin properly. And then the other thing coming up right away is your feet, a block with the feet. And normally, this isn't what I pick up on with feet. Normally, feet, it's either something related to a past life, or it's something related to your path, or it can be like an issue with grounding or manifesting. This feels different though. This feels like attachments, and it feels more like relationships. It feels like issues with relationships and specifically with attachments. And this feels male though. So specifically attachments to men, to males. And the heart chakra is coming up as connected to these attachments. But they feel grounding, which is why they're at the feet, but kind of in a negative way. Let me think how to say that. Um, so it feels like an energy can pull on your heartstrings. It doesn't just feel like one person. It feels like more than one person, but it feels like people are able to pull on your heartstrings. And again, specifically male people. And the energy with the feet, it's grounding, but in almost like a kind of stuck way. So this can be a thing like a belief or a pattern that you're kind of stuck in, and like behaviors to watch out for. I'm getting a feeling of your last reading. I think maybe some of this might have come up during the last reading. Some of this has to do with something from your last reading. So you'll know what that is. I don't remember everything that we got into during the last reading. Obviously. Oh gosh. Right. That's the other thing. I keep trying to remember. And all of a sudden I feel like my energy is getting higher, like somebody's trying to raise my energy. That's what I was gonna say. It also feels like stuck in like a negative way, like grounded in like a negative way. So it means that these attachments, it's like they're kind of lowering your energy a little bit. Um, or actually a lot more than a little bit. It feels like if you were to get rid of that, your energy would go up significantly higher. But your guides are saying not that it's low now. Um, and they're saying that a lot of people on earth have attachments that are lowering them significantly. So they're saying that your energy is is like moderately higher than most people, they're saying. Um, so it is actually higher than most people. But it would be significantly higher if these strings weren't there, if these emotional issues, emotional attachments weren't there. There's almost a feeling like you need to think of what this goes back to, or who this goes back to, or almost what male person originally made you feel like you were less or unworthy or unloved in any way. Where does that energy go back to? So I'm going to leave that with you to think about. All right, so I'm going to go ahead with the first pass with the clearing. Okay, so this is my geode, and this, the only thing I ever think of this having anything to do with is grounding. Um, I'm getting a feeling of clearing though, as well, specifically with this reading. Um, but obviously, grounding can definitely aid with clearing. I also am getting a feeling like this is like a very high energy crystal, but at the same time that it's grounding. So they're saying that it's not that it's not that you don't want to be grounded. You want to be grounded. You want to be financially secure. You want to be able to manifest things. You want to be rooted. You want to be rooted to the earth, but not mired to it. There's a difference. There's a big difference. So your guides are working on this with you. They're helping you with this. They're helping you to clear out old things. And it feels like there are energies that you have carried over, but it feels like specifically with people that you are in intimate relationships with. So not like a brother or a friend, although I will say that I do sense some father energies a little bit. That there's something coming from that. There's a lot of there's a lot of heart energy coming up though, but this also is going back to past lifetimes, or at least one past lifetime. So not only this lifetime. Okay, and now they're sending me a feeling of I'm pretty sure there was a person that you were asking about during your last reading because they're sending me a feeling of this person, and it feels like there's a past life going back to this person. And in this life, it feels like you are feeling very fulfilled by this person, and you're attached to this person in a negative way. It feels like you're kind of naive, and you don't see this person correctly or well enough. And then there's this feeling of like a betrayal, like they leave you or they're not there for you, they don't support you in the way that you thought that they would. They're not there like they said that they would be. It just feels like an abandonment type of energy. And it feels like this person in this lifetime is really not good for you. And it really doesn't feel like they've ever been good for you. Even if they seemed that way, it honestly feels like that's just you kind of being naive. There's just an energy almost like you're not like you're being innocent and you're not seeing them very clearly. You're not seeing their intentions clearly enough. What they really would want to do, whether it is some form of betrayal or using you in some way, even to gain just your energy, drain you of energy. It can be multiple things. Or it can be one thing. But it doesn't have to be a specific thing. It doesn't have to be a specific way that they are negative for you. But it feels like um, you need to remove that attachment in particular for the reason that you don't want to go into another lifetime with this person. That's something that needs to be that needs to be broken. That needs to be removed. I'm getting the word shattered, and then I'm like seeing a mirror. And the reason that they're saying shattered and they're showing a mirror is because there again, it has to do with seeing something clearly. But this also means looking at yourself clearly, because a mirror is showing you yourself. And that's why this person is there. It's to show you something about yourself. It's for you to go inward and look at things inside of yourself and find out more about who you are in a positive way. But also why you would be stepping into a current of allowing negative behaviors from others towards yourself. And why you would be naive to that, why you would be unable or maybe even a little bit unwilling to see them clearly. And so your guides are just saying, why is that there? They do this a lot with your readings. I'm really noticing, like they speak a lot about going inwardly, but then they also just kind of give hints and then drop it, just kind of leave it, like, and also give the hint of, you should think about this. Like they want you to um, like they want you to go inward and figure things out and do like a lot of self-reflecting. And they're doing that purposefully. They're not really giving you all the answers. I'm even seeing you like with a journal. I don't feel like you have to journal though necessarily. Um, but the point is self-reflecting. So this wouldn't be just sitting there, free writing or writing, poems or whatever, writing something random exactly. Although sometimes that obviously can help trigger other things, other thoughts, other emotions. But the point is more writing out conclusions that you have come to. Again, I'm not exactly sure why they're using this. It's not like you have to journal. Um, that can be a tool if you decide to do that, if you feel to do that, if that works for you, that can be a tool. So it's more a suggestion that they're giving, um, but not even a suggestion like more just think about something that you feel to do, but they're using that as an example. Because it's about self-reflecting. It's about going within and traversing, through all of your bodies, your emotional body especially, your mental body, cleansing all of them. And that means seeing what's there. That means seeing what's there. And that's what self-reflecting is about. It's it's about choosing to look at yourself. It's about seeing yourself. Seeing yourself clearly. And they're saying that doesn't mean something bad. That doesn't mean something negative. They're saying, in fact, you'll find that it means something really positive, but at the same time, you have to clear the negative stuff first. And then you can see, you know, this polished version underneath. But you have to get the dirt off first. Okay, so I've got a guide coming up. I'm going to go ahead and do another passive energy. I feel like I'm doing an aura clearing. Okay, I'm going to use my Tektite now. There's definitely an energy with the father coming up. Again, with the feet. So attachments again. And this feels like going back to past lives as well, multiple ones. It feels like you've had multiple lives with your father. It feels like some of them were good, some of them were bad. It doesn't feel like all bad things with him. Even in this life, it doesn't feel like all bad things. It feels like there are good things there as well, and there are things that you learned in a positive way. So it wasn't all bad, but there are some things to clear and some things to be aware of, some things to think about. How did he treat you in every area? How did he make you feel all the time? How did he always make you feel? Were there any patterns with how the two of you like operated together? And could this be contributing to being attached to others in this way, and men specifically, and gaining these attachments and not seeing things always in the clearest way? And some of this has to do with seeing yourself clearly and seeing your value and your worth clearly. So there really is a lot of inner reflection with your readings. And I feel like this is sort of, it's almost like this is like a stage where you are kind of meant to be doing that and looking at that and removing more things within yourself. It's not, it doesn't feel like it's just your theme throughout this lifetime, although obviously everybody needs to be doing that, and we should be doing that regardless, whether it's like the current theme happening or whatnot. We should always be doing that to a degree, and a lot really, but I don't know. There's an energy like this time specifically. It feels like a lot more than you would normally be required to do. It feels like there are energies that want to be removed now, sort of even for the next phase of your life before you can kind of complete this phase and go into a new one. There are just things that need to be cleared and things that need to be understood and looked at, just so you can feel better as a person, and um, you can move through your life in a clearer way, knowing who you are and also knowing who others are, but at the same time, like in other words, knowing who they are in reality, but at the same time, um, not at the same time seeing clearly where they're at now, whether they're being who they really are or not. And your guides are just saying that that's not a judgment. To see clearly where someone is at or how they're behaving or what patterns they've got. They're saying that isn't you judging it, but not acknowledging it is more condoning the behavior. It's allowing the behavior to overlook it. It is allowing it. And it's allowing it to come towards you. And you have to understand why you would do that. You have to look at that, examine that, and think, why would I be doing that? Why would I do that? What thought form do I have that would allow this? And for what reason? What are its reasons? Why do I have this thought form? And what is it trying to show me? And why are these people in my life? Or why have they been in my life? And what are they trying to show me? And some of it is boundary setting, it feels like. So at this time, it feels like you need to really work to clear yourself. And it feels like like you should be around clearer energies at the same time, like childlike energies, whether they're children or they're not. The point is childlike energies, free like energies, animals as well. These are energies that you need to incorporate. But they're saying, but at the same time, this this energy of being innocent, not seeing somebody clearly, or like a naivete, this this can be associated with children as well. Um, Children tend to have the clearest energy, though. They tend to have the clearest energy. So shouldn't they be able to see, shouldn't they be able to see the clearest out of that energy? Because their energy is the clearest. But your guides are saying that what blocks them, though, or partially what blocks them, though, is the fact that their energy is so clear, and yet at the same time, it's not very protected. It's vulnerable at the same time. And so they're capable of absorbing a lot. They're capable of absorbing a lot of information and trusting it because they're learning. And your guides are saying that you know a lot. You've been around for a long time. You know a lot. And this thing about 2,000 years old, I don't really feel that. I feel like your soul is older than that. It's definitely older than 2,000 years old. I mean, when you think about it, that's not really that old. I mean, I read so many people that had a lifetime in Egypt that was like 3,000, 4,000 years ago. You know, I read people who had lifetimes before that, a lot of people. So this, like, in some ways that would be kind of relatively just not very old. I wouldn't think of that as being very old. So maybe it just felt like a really old number to the person who was reading you. Um, Maybe that felt like a high number to them, and that was the reason that that was coming through. Maybe that felt high. But if you're going by linear time, I would say that most of the people that I've read are have an older soul than that. And a lot of them have had lifetimes that are going back further than that. And definitely, if you've had lifetimes on another planet, um, you're definitely going to be older than that. Most likely, anyway. Most likely. But there's a lot of advantages to being a new soul as well, or to being a young soul. There's a lot of advantages to both being a young soul and an old soul, and even in the middle. I'm sure there are advantages to all of it. But again, this theme is coming up. A lot of the times, though, as a younger soul, one of the benefits is that you are more clear, and you don't sort of have everything figured out yet. So you're open to suggestion. But at the same time, you have to learn to close off to some things. You have to learn to close off to the wrong information. And they don't just mean, they're saying information. Um, but this is almost like energetic information, it feels like. So you have to close off to the wrong vibes, in other words, and you have to be able to pick up on those. Just to protect yourself, to protect your own self, and to value yourself. And that's not judging others. It's not about judgment. And at this point, if you were to judge others, even to judge them harshly, in some ways that would be a good thing. Your guides wouldn't really get on to you for that. If anything, they would praise you for that, because the energy that they keep sending is really this thing of, you need to set boundaries and to learn to distinguish a positive from a negative vibration, um, and to feel the intention of somebody else coming towards you. It doesn't mean close off to everyone. Not everyone, but it does mean to close off to some people and some situations. And to not allow yourself to be affected or influenced by somebody else's behavioral patterns, or even the way that they speak. And it kind of feels like manipulate. It feels like you've had some manipulators in your life. You've had this theme kind of come up at different times, and it feels almost like someone can manipulate you with their energy, and also by the way that they speak, with their words. And your guides are saying that words get out an energy. So they're saying that they're saying these things because you can handle it, because you've gotten to a point where you're in a space now where you can handle hearing things about yourself, and where you want to self-evaluate and look at yourself, and they like that. And that's a really good thing to them. That's a very positive thing to them. Um, and they definitely encourage you to do that. And yeah, they're saying that you're much older than 2,000 years old. um, but again, that might have just felt like a very high number to the person that was reading you. So it's not even that they were like reading you inaccurately. It just means that that might have felt, it might have felt a different way to them as they were saying it. And I feel you as having a lot of Earth lifetimes. Um, and sometimes, occasionally with the origin reading, the origin doesn't come through. Normally it does, but once in a while, it doesn't. And that's just because the person's guides just want, um, Their aim is to get through something else, and it usually has something to do with blocks, or the person isn't ready, but again, usually because of blocks, the person isn't ready. Actually, it's always been because of blocks. Um, I yeah, I don't think I've ever done an origin reading where the origin didn't come through, and it wasn't because the guide was focusing on some type of block. Some area that was blocked, and they were saying you need to focus on this now. You need to clear this up, and then we'll come back to the origin. And I don't really know why that is. Why they don't just go ahead and just say the origin? I'm not really sure. When there is a block that they feel to focus on. But I know that they do take things in kind of an order. And it's whatever they feel is most relative and most beneficial, most going to help the person that they're guiding. So they feel like you can handle this now, this introspection, and you're going to find some really positive things about yourself. Even if there are negative things to look at and remove, they're saying that that's not even about yourself. That's not who you are. That's just something that's just some thought form that has developed that you've been agreeing with. But you're going to find who you are. And that's the thing. When you find who you are, then you can separate from those things that you've been acting out of that aren't who you are. Then you can separate from those things because you know that you are separate from them when you find yourself. When you look at yourself and who you are. Okay, so that is the end of another reading. So thank you so much, the child, for allowing me to do this reading for you. I know we have another one coming up soon. Thank you so much, and I truly hope that this benefits you. Namaste.